Welcome to the Deep Dive, the place where we take a complex, sometimes pretty emotionally charged slice of real life, and we really break down the language around it. Today, it's divorce. Now, even if it's not something you're, personally dealing with, it pops up everywhere. Movies, TV, the news.
Constantly.
Right. So understanding the words, the nuances, it's not just about vocabulary. It helps you stay informed in a world that, honestly, can feel a bit overwhelming sometimes.
Exactly. And our deep dive today is all about that language. The words used in divorce. We're looking at everything from, the legal jargon,
right,
to the everyday phrases people actually use, things that capture such a huge life change.
So what's the mission here?
Well, the mission is basically to cut through the noise. We want to pull out the really important bits of knowledge, the key terms, the expressions, give you a shortcut, really.
A shortcut. I like that.
Yeah, so you can grasp these phrases quickly, understand what's really being said, and feel more confident when you hear this stuff without feeling buried in information.
Okay, great. So, to kick things off, let's just jump right in. We've got a short dialogue, a little snapshot of a conversation. Listen out for the words and phrases, because we're about to unpack them right after.
Let's hear it.
Jeff. Joanne, let's not make this divorce any more acrimonious than it already is. Let's just divide things fairly and go our separate ways.
Joanne, fine with me. I just want to get this over with. It's important we make a clean break.
Jeff, my lawyer tells me you've accepted the alimony proposal and the custody agreement. You get the dog, I get the cat.
Joanne, finally. Okay, let's move on to the record collection.
Oof. Yeah.
You can really feel that, can't you? The tension.
Definitely.
It's short, maybe a bit grim.
A little.
But it's packed. Packed with really relevant, powerful English vocabulary about this topic.
Yeah, it's a perfect place to start, actually, to dig into what these words mean, but also, why they matter so much when people are separating.
Let's do it.
Okay, let's unpack this. First word out of the gate, acrimonious. Jeff used it right away, and it's more than just, being mad. Acrimonious means bitter, hostile, full of resentment.
Right. It's a specific kind of anger, often shown in how people talk or act.
Yeah.
It implies things are really contentious, maybe even nasty.
So drawn-out fights, public arguments.
Exactly. When you hear a divorce described as acrimonious, it signals serious conflict. It's not just disagreeing. It often feels like one or both people are actively making it harder.
Out of anger or control, maybe.
It could be anger, control, unresolved stuff.
Yeah.
And the insight here is that this bitterness, it makes everything worse. Higher legal costs, longer court battles.
Or stress.
Huge emotional strain, especially if they're kids. It really poisons the whole process, makes rational decisions almost impossible sometimes.
So it's not just a feeling, it's like an active force messing things up.
That's a great way to put it. It's the difference between a tough talk and just, all-out war.
Okay. Next term, we hear this one a lot, especially with celebrities and stuff. Prenup.
Ah, yes, prenup.
Short for prenuptial agreement. And it's that legal contract people sign before they get married.
Before. That's the key.
Right. And it lays out how things like assets, money, debts, how that stuff gets handled if they split up later, or even if one person passes away.
It's interesting, isn't it? Planning for the end before you even start. Feels a bit weird.
A little pessimistic.
Yeah, maybe. But while some see it as, mistrustful, others see it differently, it can actually create more openness, more clarity about finances.
How so?
Well, by talking about money expectations right at the beginning, couples might avoid big fights down the road. Both people feel more protected. And, prenups used to be mostly for the super rich.
Right, protecting big fortunes.
Exactly. But now they cover way more. Things like intellectual property, digital assets, even who gets the pets, like in our dialogue.
So it's less about expecting failure, maybe more about clear communication, financial planning.
Precisely. Think of it like a financial roadmap for bumps in the road. Hopefully it's done with understanding, not suspicion.
Okay. Next one Jeff mentioned was alimony.
Alimony.
This is money one spouse pays the other after the divorce, sometimes called spousal support.
Right. Spousal support.
And the idea isn't really punishment. It's more about financial stability, especially if one spouse earned less or maybe sacrificed their career during the marriage.
Yeah, and this is a really nuanced area. It's not just a standard payment. Courts look at a lot of things.
Like what?
Well, how long they were married, what each person could earn now, what they contributed during the marriage.
Contributions like paying for education or staying home with kids.
Exactly. Both count.
Yep.
And another thing that's changing is the type of alimony. We often hear about rehabilitative alimony,
What's that?
It's temporary support. Helps a spouse get skills or education to become independent financially.
Ah, okay. Like a bridge.
Yeah. There's also temporary alimony during the divorce process itself. And less common now, but still happens, permanent alimony, usually after really long marriages or in specific situations. So it's often about adjustment, fairness, not always a lifelong payment.
Got it. So not always the permanent thing people sometimes picture. Often it's about helping someone get back on their feet.
That's a really key point. It reflects, modern life, changing roles.
And then there was custody. In the dialogue, it was about the dog and the cat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is surprisingly common, the pet custody arguments.
I bet. But usually custody means legal responsibility for children, right?
Primarily, yes.
Mm.
For children, it's obviously a much bigger, more critical legal thing. It's about who makes the big decisions. Education, health, religion.
And where they live.
And where they live, primarily. That's the difference between legal custody, the decision-making part, and physical custody, the living arrangements part.
Can one parent have both?
Yes. It can be sole, meaning one parent has all the responsibility, or joint, where it's shared. But the absolute guiding principle, everywhere, is supposed to be the best interests of the child.
The best interests of the child.
Mm-hmm. Every decision is meant to be viewed through that lens. What's best for the child's well-being. That's the goal, theoretically.
That seems like the most important thing, even when parents are going through their own stuff.
It absolutely should be.
Yeah.
It's the standard courts are supposed to apply to everything custody-related.
Now, Jeff and Joanne were fighting over the record collection.
Yes, the records.
Which brings us to a broader idea. Marital property. What does that cover?
Good question. Marital property is basically any asset or debt that either spouse got during the marriage.
So not just the house or bank accounts?
Nope. It could be anything. That record collection, art, cars, retirement funds, maybe a business they built together.
Anything acquired while married.
That's the general idea.
Yeah.
And dividing it up can get really complicated, especially with unique things like you mentioned, maybe an antique watch.
Or Joanne's records.
Exactly. Things with sentimental value on top of money value. You often need appraisals to figure out what they're worth.
How do they split something like that?
Well, sometimes one person buys out the other's share, or they just divide the items. It's rarely just splitting cash 50-50. And these personal items, they often become symbolic battlegrounds.
So the record collection isn't just records, it's history, feelings.
Precisely. Often the most emotionally charged part of dividing things.
Okay, and one last word from the dialogue. Concede. Jeff sort of implied Joanne had conceded or accepted the proposals.
Right. To concede. It means to give up on something or admit you were wrong or just acknowledge something is true, maybe after arguing against it.
Like giving in?
Sort of, yeah. But it's really important in negotiations, especially tough ones like divorce. It's often strategic. Hard to do, but you need it to move forward.
Why is it essential?
Well, if nobody ever concedes anything, the whole thing just drags on forever, right?
Yeah.
So maybe you concede on a smaller money issue to get what you want on custody, for example. It's about acknowledging reality, prioritizing what matters most instead of fighting every single battle.
Trying to get to a resolution.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It leads to a less, acrimonious outcome, usually faster too.
Yeah.
We see it elsewhere, like a politician conceding an election. It allows things to move on peacefully.
Sounds like a tough step, but maybe a necessary one to actually end the fight.
It really is. Choosing resolution, even if it hurts, over just endless struggle. What's really cool about learning a language isn't just the single words. It's getting those natural phrases, the idioms, the things people actually say in real conversations. They're not just words. They're like fluency builders. They capture feelings and intentions so well.
Totally agree. And Joanne used a great one. Get this over with.
Yeah, get this over with.
It's not just finish. It's like, I hate this. It's unpleasant. Let's just do it quickly and be done. That feeling of dread, almost.
Exactly. Think about, going to the dentist.
Perfect example.
You just want to get it over with. In a divorce context, it shows deep emotional tiredness, a real desire for it all to just end. The process itself is painful.
Yeah, that makes sense. Then she also said, make a clean break.
Ooh, another powerful one.
Especially for relationships. It means cutting ties completely, right? No more contact, removing those connections.
Yeah, stopping everything. It's the ideal, maybe, after a tough split. Trying to avoid any lingering stuff or temptation to go back.
Sounds simple, but is it?
Well, that's the thing. It's often way easier said than done. A real clean break means no calls, no texts, unfollowing on social media, maybe even avoiding shared friends for a while.
But what about kids or shared finances?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the challenge. When you have shared responsibilities like kids, that kind of clean break becomes almost impossible. So it's often more of a goal than a reality for many. But the aim is emotional and physical distance to help healing.
An ideal, but reality is often messier.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Especially now, with everyone being so connected all the time. Making a truly clean break takes real effort.
Okay, another phrase. Drag this out.
Drag it out.
This implies making something last longer than it needs to, often because someone's being difficult or can't make a decision.
Or maybe even being spiteful.
Yeah, could be.
You see it all the time in negotiations. Someone just refuses to compromise or actively blocks things. They're dragging it out.
Why would someone do that?
Lots of reasons. Maybe it's genuinely hard to agree. Maybe it's a power thing. Maybe it's just hard to let go emotionally. But the result is always the same.
More cost, more stress.
Exactly. Bigger financial hit, bigger emotional toll on everyone. It becomes like a war of attrition, just wearing people down.
Ugh, sounds exhausting. A marathon of bad feelings and bills.
It really can be. And ironically, it often just makes things more bitter in the end, more acrimonious.
And one more phrase, a very common one for relationships in trouble.
On the rocks.
Ah, classic. On the rocks.
So if a marriage or relationship is on the rocks, it means it's in serious difficulty, like close to failing, teetering. It's such a great idiom for instability, isn't it? The image it creates.
Like a ship hitting rocks.
Yeah. Danger, potential shipwreck. When a marriage is on the rocks, it usually means lots of arguments, maybe growing distance, intimacy fading, communication just breaks down.
So it's a way to signal serious problems.
Right. It's often a kind of understated way people say their relationship is in crisis without actually saying, we're getting divorced. It's like an early warning sign. Often comes before a separation happens.
A classic phrase for a relationship right on the edge.
Yeah.
Instantly tells you there's big trouble.
It's a pretty universal metaphor, I think. A relationship just struggling to stay afloat. You know, connecting all this to the bigger picture, it really shows how divorce is such a global thing. But wow, the way it's viewed and handled varies so much.
It really does. Like here in the U.S., it's very common. That statistic you always hear.
The 50% one.
Yeah, about 50% of marriages, 1 in 2, end in divorce. It's part of the social fabric here. Challenging, yes, but definitely not taboo.
And that's such a huge contrast with other places where it's much rarer or even illegal.
Illegal, where?
The Philippines is the main example. It's the only country, besides Vatican City, where divorce is illegal for its citizens.
Wow. Why is that?
It's largely due to the massive influence of the Catholic Church there, which views marriage as unbreakable, a sacrament. They have annulments, but under really strict rules.
So not like a regular divorce.
Not at all. It leaves many people in really tough legal and emotional spots. A clean break just isn't a legal option for them.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Are there other places where it's legal but maybe still frowned upon?
Oh, absolutely. Think about India. Divorce is legal, but there's still a lot of social stigma, especially for women. It's much less common than here.
Why? Family pressure.
Often, yeah. Traditional family structures, community expectations. They push people to stay married even if they're unhappy, or even places like Italy. Divorce is legal now, but it only came in the 70s.
Relatively recent then.
Yeah. And the cultural feel around it is different than, say, in Scandinavia, where it's more accepted. It just shows how religion, history, culture, they all shape the laws and how people experience divorce worldwide.
That is a massive range of experiences. So thinking about you listening, how is it in your country? Is divorce common where you are? Is it generally accepted? Or is it still kind of taboo, something people avoid talking about? It really puts all this vocabulary into a much bigger human context when you think about it that way. Okay, so what does this all mean for you? Let's make sure these terms and phrases have really sunk in. We're going to do a quick review game.
Sounds good.
We'll give you the meaning. You guess the word or phrase we talked about. Ready?
All right, let's play. Number 1, when you deliberately make a difficult situation last way too long, maybe because of conflict or just not wanting to agree. What's that phrase?
Give you a second.
That's drag this out. Did you get it?
Okay, number 2. Money that one spouse might pay the other after they divorce, often meant to help with financial independence. What's that called? It's alimony.
Good. Number 3, when people in a relationship decide to totally cut off contact, sever all ties, to move on separately, What's that called?
That complete separation.
It's make a clean break.
All right, number 4, that legal contract signed before the wedding. It says how money and property get divided if there's a divorce. What's the short name for it?
The one we hear about with famous people.
A prenup, prenuptial agreement.
Okay, last one, number 5. That common phrase for a relationship that's in serious trouble, really close to ending. What is it?
Like a ship in danger.
It's on the rocks. How'd you do? Hopefully you got most of them.
Fantastic job, everyone. Seriously, we've covered a lot today. We took some pretty complex real-life language around divorce and hopefully made it clearer, more understandable. You really do have that shortcut now, I think, to being better informed on a topic that, well, it affects a lot of people.
Absolutely. And like we said, maybe not the happiest subject, but knowing this language is so useful for understanding the world. Personal stories, news, even legal systems.
Yeah.
And it leaves you with something to think about, doesn't it? Beyond just the definitions, how does knowing these specific terms actually shape how you see personal challenges, or human resilience, or even those big cultural differences in how societies handle divorce globally?
That's a great final thought. How understanding the words changes our perspective. Really interesting. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into divorce vocabulary. We really hope you feel more knowledgeable now.
Hope it was helpful.
Join us next time for another exploration into fascinating topics.